Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, author of gamblersadvisory.com's How to Bet on Boxing, available at Google Books. And I'm back from the Thanksgiving holiday, and I see my mailbox is full on YouTube. There's some big fights coming up this weekend. What I wanted to do was a quick week of the fight video on just betting strategy for the upcoming Carl Froch, Arthur Abraham, and Juan Manuel Marquez versus MarquezCasitas fights. Now, people know that I believe that your best bet, more times than not, is a straddle play. If they research me online, they'll see that I actually follow hedge funds. I have a couple of other sites up. Doug Cass, Kass 777 at blogspot.com. He's with Seabreeze Partners. David Tepper, 777.blogspot.com. Keepingitfree.blogspot.com. I'm a gambler by nature, and I really do believe that the best way to deal with risk is to hedge risk. Even if the most money you can make is in a naked play on an outcome you believe is the most likely outcome, I believe you need to have money on your plan B. That's my belief. That's how I structure bets. That's how I roll. Now, let's talk about specific fights. The Carl Froch fight against Arthur Abraham, and the odds, as well as my earlier video. Now, the fight's going to happen literally tomorrow. I have an earlier video that's several months old where I'm predicting that there's going to be a knockout in this fight. I don't believe that this fight goes the distance. Nonetheless, the casinos disagree with me. They have the over-under on this fight at, and check your casino's odds, every casino's different, but I believe the market price is 11.5 rounds, right? And for the under, you get a minus 120. In other words, bet 120 to win 100. Now, that's staggering because the casinos apparently believe that a knockout is unlikely. Understand, you cannot get a higher over-under than 11.5 rounds. Now, at this point, let me just say this. I know people who followed my Sergio Martinez Week of the Fight video have spread the love. They're very appreciative on the money that was made off that video. Let me just say this. It's your money. It's hard-earned. No one, and I'm serious about this, no one out there who believes that gambling is without risk should follow my videos. There are going to be many days where the best structured bets don't hold. Your money is hard-earned, and you need to take responsibility for your money, and you should really only follow my advice if you understand that it's your decision to do so. Right? I'm someone who tries to call it as I see it. That means at times I'm going to be with a point of view that's completely opposed to the casino, like I am here, right? And so following my advice is risky. I understand some of you have made a lot of money. Some of you have even paid me back by buying my book, and I'm certainly appreciative. But again, past performance is no indication of future success. You should look at every fight yourself. You should look at every fighter yourself. You should not rely on any pundit. You should really rely on yourself. I want you to consider these videos to be just a second opinion because some of my picks are risky. I'm not trying to market perform, right? I don't want to be average and pay the casino a vig. I'm actually trying to beat the casino, and I'm prepared to take the risks in doing so. So as a result, there are times when I'm going to pick the wrong fighter. And, you really need to be aware of the fact that what I'm saying in this video in particular is very risky because, of course, the casinos disagree with me. I see a knockout happening in the Froch-Abraham fight, as I've stated in an earlier video. I thought the over-under would be, seriously, maybe 7.5 rounds. I'm a bit stunned to see that it's 11.5 rounds. I see compelling value. The play I'm recommending, and it's a two-part play, and I understand that Abraham's a slight favorite in the fight, but understand the way I see the fight, both guys have an equal shot of winning this fight. I think it's a toss-up. So the way I'm structuring my bet, the way I'd like to, is I want the under. Since it's minus 120, we're going to make the numbers simple. I'm going to bet 120 to win 100, and then my plan B is going to be to put a straddle, just insurance, not to make money, just as a plan B. This is just to leave the casino without a loss if the knockout doesn't happen. I believe between these two fighters, and they both have an equal chance of winning the fight, but I believe if this goes to a decision, then the fighter I believe who fights better from long range and isn't as scripted, Carl Froch, has a better chance of winning this fight by decision than does Arthur Abraham. And it just so happens that you can get Carl Froch by decision at a plus 240. Understand, that's not my main bet. My main bet is the under 11.5 rounds, right? I believe Arthur Abraham has as much a chance of winning as Carl Froch, but I believe for Abraham to win, he's going to have to stop Carl Froch. So the bet I like is 120 on the under 11.5 to win 100, and then I like a straddle of $50 on Carl Froch by decision, just to win back my 120 if the knockout doesn't happen. Now understand the risk involved. If Arthur Abraham wins by decision, you lose both halves of the bet. If either guy wins by knockout in the last 90 seconds of the fight, like Arthur Abraham was able to beat Jermaine Taylor and like Carl Froch was able to beat Jermaine Taylor in the last 90 seconds of their fights, then you lose everything. You're only protected for the first 11.5 rounds, right? That's 23 outcomes. You're also protected for Carl Froch winning the fight by decision, right? You would be unprotected for knockouts in the last 90 seconds by either guy or for Arthur Abraham winning the fight by decision. I think this is a toss-up, but I do think there's money to be made. Understand, with this play, if you hit on the under 11.5 rounds, you actually win $100 minus the $50 that you put on Carl Froch by decision. You net $50, which in my opinion is a pretty good return for a total bet of 170. I know some gamblers disagree with me. Don't bother sending me emails saying, oh, I can do better flying naked. Of course, in every bet involving a hedge, you can do better flying naked if your plan A hits. But trust me, there are going to be days when your plan A doesn't hit and you need a plan B. Just think about sophisticated investors. They have their money in vehicles called hedge funds, not naked funds. You want to have a little straddle, in my opinion, on Carl Froch by decision, so that if Froch wins by decision, you don't make any money, but you don't lose any money either, right? You get back the 120 that you bet on the under 11.5. Let's talk about another fight. Juan Manuel Marquez versus MarquezCasitas here again. The casino completely disagrees with me. Marquez is one of my favorite fighters. I love watching his defense. I love watching, his general game. I'm one of the few who believe, in fact, not one of the few, I'm one of the many who believe that Marquez actually beat Manny Pacquiao twice. All of that said, Marquez has slowed down tremendously. I believe that the upset is the most likely result of this fight. I've made a video where I've predicted that MarquezCasitas was going to win this fight. Understand that at the time I made that video, I thought the fight was going to be in Mexico. The fight's actually going to be in Las Vegas. I believe that Katsidis is simply too young, too fast, too strong for one Manuel Marquez. Marquez starts slow, right? I believe Katsidis is going to come out and dominate the early rounds. Understand, too, Katsidis throws very short punches, which are very hard to counter. Now, the casino disagrees with me. They believe that Marquez, if these two fought 4 times, that Marquez would win at least 3 of the 4. So they have Marquez at a greater than minus 300 favorite. My play in this fight is to take MarquezCasitas to win the fight outright at plus 250 because I believe, here's the straddle I like, because I believe that Marquez probably has the more judge-friendly style, and that if this fight goes into the later rounds, Marquez's chances of winning increase marginally. The straddle I like is the over 9.5 rounds, where you actually get, even money odds. Now, let me be clear here. I actually do think there's a distinct chance at an early knockout in this fight. I just believe that the person getting the knockout would be MarquezCasitas. Nonetheless, if they're going to give me a plus 250 on Katsidis, so if I bet 100, I win 250. And if they're going to give me a straight up even money straddle on a possible outcome, and it's, bet 100 to get 100 on the over, and if the straddle is not mutually exclusive of my base bet, in other words, if Katsidis wins by knockout later, or if Katsidis wins by decision, I win both halves of the bet, and of course I'm protected if Marquez gets a late round knockout, then I'm going to take that option. So my base bet is, on the under 9.5. My other bet is on the straddle, is on the, my base bet is Katsidis to win. The straddle is the over 9.5. Let's break it down. If you only have $100 to spend, understand that you could put 40 on Katsidis simply to win the fight. If he does, you win $100, right? 40 times 2.5. If you put the other 60 on the over, think about it, you actually win if either happens. If Marquez wins the fight after the 9.5 mark of the fight, midway through the 10th round, or if Marquez wins by decision, or if Katsidis wins by decision, as long as it's over 9.5, you put in 60, you get back 60. Even if you lose on the Katsidis part of the bet, you're actually netting $20. Do the math, juggle the numbers. I'm confusing even myself here, but my preferred play on the Katsidis fight is base bet Katsidis to win, straddled against the 9.5 over. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Let me also add one more thing. Andre Ward, Sakio Bika, let me just say that I do expect Andre Ward to win the fight, but I do not believe that that fight is worth betting on because the casinos have made Ward a minus 1,200. That's simply ridiculous. Bika's best chance of winning the fight is by KO, but even by KO, you're getting only about a plus 850. So based on the odds, sometimes you know what's going to happen in a fight, but the fight's not worth betting on. Just from a boxing perspective, I like Ward in that fight. Bika throws wide punches. I know Bika looked good late against Joe Calzaghe, but understand, you can actually shoot punches right down the middle on Bika, like Lucien Boutte did, right? Bika is a hooker like Adrian Diacanu. Ward can fight the Jean Pascal fight that Pascal fought against Diacanu to beat him, or Ward can, even if he wants, smother Bika, because Bika's punches are simply too wide. You can get inside. He's vulnerable right down the middle. Of course, Bika is a knockout puncher. If he's going to beat Ward, it's not going to be by a decision, particularly not in Oakland. He's going to have to knock Ward out. He does have that capability, but Ward is one of the most skilled fighters in the game. He's excellent defensively. So there, the odds don't allow a play, but I would take Ward to win straddled against Bika by KO. Thanks for watching.